anonymously invited, so call me back. Okay, I love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the show for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the one and only Maddie Drospick, and co-hosted by the sweetest, gooeyest girl in all the land, Miss Mango, the gooey girl. Mango Drospick, the gooey girl. For whatever reason, it's very funny to me when you give a pet a last name. Like, I guess her name is Mango Drospick. I guess that is. I guess that is your name. But to me, there's like something so funny about giving an animal a last name. I just remember one time I had to get Mango's conjunctivitis prescription delivered. And it's like the same place that delivers my prescriptions. Like, they deliver my birth control and shit. Mango, where are we going? Where is this journey taking us? You just want to be held, bunny? Okay, I can hold you while I tell this story. So when they called, I'll talked on the phone with them to like confirm the prescription. They were like, "Can I get the full name of the individual whose prescription this is?" And I was like, "Well, it's a cat, so she doesn't really have a last name." And I laughed because I was like, "That's ridiculous. My cat doesn't have a last name. Her name's Mango. This is a prescription for a cat, not a person." And the person on the other line of the phone didn't think it was funny at all. Was like, "Yeah, your cat has a last name. What's the last name?" I was like, well, I guess it's Drospick. Is this not funny to you too? To be like, this cat has a last name? Of course this cat doesn't have a last name. She's like Madonna, you know? It's just the one word. It's just Mango. We add on the gooey girl every now and then because she's the sweetest girl on earth, and also she gets regular conjunctivitis. So that's, you know, we didn't know that when we called her the gooey girl. It's just like another reason why she is the gooey girl. Oh my God, I love this one. I love her. Look at her. Look at fucking this sweet little thing. God damn it, I love you. But anyways, I guess I was the crazy one for being like, it's a cat. This prescription is for a cat. I just want to be clear. It's not a human person. It's just a cat. Her name is Mango. What's the cat's last name? Drospick, I guess. I don't know. Is that wild to be like, I don't think animals have last names? I don't think they do. But I guess I was the asshole in that situation. I was a big idiot for not knowing that she had a last name. Mango Drospick. That's her. My one and only. My one child. My one baby. So we did Thanksgiving. I did it. I accomplished it. We did what we needed to do. For those of you that don't know, aren't caught up on the eps, I did host my family's Thanksgiving this year. And by host, I mean go to my parents' house and host it. I planned the menu, cooked everything, set everything up, whole shebang. And my grandmother and my sister helped me. And it was actually such a nice time. It was very enjoyable. We had fun. It was a good morning, just the three of us cooking, planning, doing the whole thing together. It was nice. I actually really enjoyed it. I look forward to continuing to do it on Thanksgiving. It was just like it was fun. It wasn't stressful at all because I felt like we planned everything in advance for what we were going to have to do. And my parents have 2 ovens. So that was huge. That was monumental. If we had 1 oven, it would have been much harder. But because we had 2 ovens and we planned the schedule out in advance, we divvied up, you know, who's responsible for what. It felt like it was just sort of a breeze. It wasn't bad at all. And everyone seemed to enjoy the food. It was a smash hit sensation. And yeah, I had a wonderful little long weekend at my family's. I went to go see Saltburn a second time. Brought my siblings because everyone needs to know the joy and wonder of seeing Saltburn. I will not hear any Saltburn slander. Any Saltburn slander is coming from a tasteless mouth. Okay? Anything negative you hear about that film, understand that whoever says it is tasteless, and you don't need to take their opinions into account. I love it. I think about it every day of my life. So fucking good. I'm not going to talk about it yet. I understand it's only been out for like fucking not even a week yet. Or I guess it's a week by the time you guys are watching this. But, God, you got to get out there and go see Saltburn. Especially if you are a lover of psychological thrillers. get out there and go see Saltburn because you're going to love it. You're going to just eat it up. Okay? You're going to lick your fucking fingers clean of it afterwards. It's phenomenal. And I keep looking up. Now that I'm in my movie era, like, what happened to me? All of a sudden, I'm the movie girl. All of a sudden, I'm seeing every movie that comes out. I have been looking up, like, lists, write-ups that people have done predicting what this year's Oscar season is going to look like, being like, oh, I should probably catch up on the movies that I didn't watch from the beginning half of the year that could be nominated for Oscars, because I'm going to be very involved this Oscar season. I'm going to know all the movies. I'm going to watch all of them. I've probably already seen a lot of them. And a lot of the predictions lists that I've been seeing have other movies on the lists that I would personally replace with Saltburn. And I'm just saying, maybe we need to get me in there. My brains, my vision, okay? Because me and Emerald Fennel, we were looking at each other. I was looking Emerald in her eyeballs, and I was saying, Mama, I saw you. I see you, and I hear you, and I understand you, okay? That's how I felt. That's how I do feel. But the predictions list that I saw only had Saltburn listed as like a cinematography nomination, maybe, which deserved. But can we get Rosamund Pike a supporting actress nomination for Saltburn? Because I would like to see it. Yes, I fucking would. All right. Cinematography for sure, though. For sure. Anyways, I love Saltburn. Saw it a second time with my siblings who also loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. No, I wasn't holding them at gunpoint to do that. They just loved it because it's a perfect movie. 5 out of 5 stars. Wouldn't change a thing. And then my sister and I redid our bedroom together, which was a lot of fun. My sister and I, my parents moved pretty recently. So this was our first Thanksgiving in our new home, and my sister and I share a bedroom in this new home, and it is so much fun. My sister and I shared a room when we were like super little, and my grandparents lived with us for a little bit. And then when my grandparents moved out, I got my own room and Morgan got her own room. But it's so much fun getting to sleep in the same room as my sister again. We have beds that face each other, so we're both like laying in bed and we can look up and just look at each other. We could sort of pretend that we are the grandparents in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and we're in the same bed if we think really hard. I mean, it's a big room, so we're sort of like all the way across, but we're facing each other. So it's like, this is just jumbo Charlie and the Chocolate Factory grandpa vibes. Yeah. So we were having so much fun playing Toontown to the wee hours of the morning, drinking our Diet Cokes in bed, and having a grand old time. And we redesigned our little room together. We went out. We went to core shopping. We hit a fucking Home Sense, a Home Goods, a Target, and we had a great time redecorating it. And I ordered us neon signs to go above our beds that say our Toontown names on it. So there's going to be a sign above my bed that says Pancake, and a sign above her bed that says Dinky. And everybody that's not us is going to hate this, and they're not going to understand it. And you know what? It's not for you to understand. It isn't. It's not for you to understand. It's for the bitches that have been playing on the same Toontown account for 10 years to understand, okay? And maybe that's just where we have to leave things. Maybe if you didn't get in on the Toontown lifestyle when it was hot in the year 2005, then you just don't get it. And I feel sorry for everyone that doesn't get it. And, you know, this is just a shout out. This piece of decor is really it's in honor of all the girly pops that have been playing on the same Toontown Rewritten account for a decade. Okay? It's for those of you that have been grinding on the same account for a decade. And really, it would be longer than a decade if Toontown, the original Toontown, didn't shut down and then fans remade it, hence Toontown Rewritten. Because if we were counting my original account, Mama, she's like 18 years old. That's a whole child that I've raised from birth to adulthood. Sometimes I talk about my interests and things that I spend a lot of time caring about in this life, and I'm like, you're wild with how committed you are to things. Like, I might be the most commitment loving person on the face of the planet. I just feel like I'm one of those people that when I love something, when something becomes an interest of mine, it's a permanent interest, babe. It does not change. Which is also why I feel like maybe I'll have purple hair forever now. Because once you commit, I just feel like I'm a forever kind of girl with a lot of things. Made a YouTube video one day and was like, you know what? This is my thing. Heard Just Dance for the first time and was like, I would give my life for her forever. And I will never stop loving her. And I just think that's a lot of things with me, is I decide I love something and I commit to loving it. And it's just like, forever, baby. It's me and you. Toontown is on that list. The girls who get it, and the girls who don't, I'm so sorry that you don't. I'm so fucking sorry. That's so sad that you don't get it, and you never will. Pancake and Dinky rise. So I'm sure my parents are going to love that home decor that I bought and I'm hanging up in their house. Not their room, but I'm sure that my mother is still going to hate it. So shout out to that conversation that I'm going to have next month when I go home for Christmas, and these neon signs are waiting for me to hang them up in our room. Godspeed. Did you guys see what emrata posted on Instagram this week? Because let's talk about it. Let's have a little chat about what has been going on Emily Ratajkowski's Instagram. I saw this last night and I was like, how is this? How? No, I don't know. I'm not going to ask how because I know how. But the initial reaction is always like, how is something like this happening in the year of our Lord 2023? Don't we know better now? And the answer is apparently not. Basically, if you don't know, if you haven't seen it, it's still up, so you can go look at it if you want to. But emrata posted some photos from a photo shoot for M magazine, and it's the second photo in the carousel, so you're gonna have to swipe to find it. But the second photo in this carousel is a photo of emrata in a pair of jeans that are 2 times her size. It's like the classic early 2000s thin person wearing plus size pants thing where they put their whole body in one pant leg and then just hold out the other end of the pants. And you would think that we're like so far past this kind of 2003 behavior, but I guess we're not. And saw this photo on my feed last night and I immediately was like, well, let's go check out these comments, because I want to hope that they're not great. I want to hope that there are a bunch of people in these comments like, what in the fucking early 2000s is going on here? Don't we know better than this? So let me read you some of the comments so we can, get a vibe for what the people are saying before we get into my personal thoughts on all of this. We've got, what a strange second photo, and you wrote a whole book about body image. This is really weird. Designers won't make plus sizes unless it's for a photo op where a thin person can be quirky. What is the reason for this second photo? Genuinely curious. Writing a book centered around body image and then doing the second photo is crazy. The fact that a whole team of people worked on this and thought it was cool is so fucked up. That second photo is such godforsaken trash in the year of our Lord 2023. Still, yikes. Oh my God, you're so skinny. We should have a party. Should we invite Bella Hadid? What in the fatphobic hell is that second picture? That second picture is so out of touch and ignorant, but the comments are chef's kiss. She might be clueless, but her followers get it, and that is truly beautiful. So that gives you a little taste of what's going on in this comment section. Most people are like, what is going on here? I think we know better. I think most of us know better. And I would just like to hear an explanation for why this photo exists in 2023. We saw so much of this shit in the early 2000s, and here's the thing. When we have that initial reaction of like, how is this happening in 2023? How do people not know better? Or specifically when people are like, how did this go through a whole team of people? And you had creative directors, photographers, stylists, emrata herself, managers, fucking the whole marketing team, the whole creative team. We had everybody that worked on this project look at it and say, looks good. Yeah, in 2023, you know what people are going to love is if we take a pair of plus size jeans and we stick Emrata in one leg. We put her whole body in one leg and have her hold out the other side of the jeans. Because that's awesome. And people love that in 2023. We love any way to emphasize just how skinny mini Emrata is and put her in these big gargantuan fucking big fatty fat pants so that everyone can see how beautiful and petite Emrata is. Like, what is going on? Because I just don't, anybody with a brain who's like plugged in and connected to what the general cultural conversation is at this point in time about shit like this would know that it's not gonna hit. And who knows, maybe this is one of those situations where the team does know that it's going to get a reaction out of people, and that's part of why they're doing it. It's edgy, and it is, I don't fucking know. I think it's stupid, personally, obviously. But there is some part of me when I hear the reaction of like, well, how did this happen? There is some part of me that goes, plus size people know how this happened. Like, there is some part of me that's like, it's not really that shocking as a plus size person to consider that somewhere there is a room full of straight size people doing something fatphobic, making some shitty fatphobic creative decision, and because it's a room full of straight size people, they don't think twice about it. It's not shocking to me to think that spaces like that exist where people just literally don't give a fuck and don't analyze it deeper. I don't know if that's the case here. I'm probably more inclined to believe that at least someone in the room analyzed it deeper. They just chose not to care about it. Whether that means they chose not to call it out, or maybe they were not in the position of power to call it out, or maybe they did call it out, but it was called out as like yeah, this is going to get a reaction out of people, but that's what we're going for sort of thing. I don't know. And it does suck. I don't want to seem like I'm like jaded to it, or I never want to like expect this kind of behavior from people, because I think it's always best to never get like comfortable or complacent about the ways that we experience and witness fat phobia in our media. I think it's important to call it out when we see it and say, this is not cool. We don't like this. We're past this. This is a type of photo shoot, a message that we left in the early 2000s, and it's not coming back, and you can't bring it back. Okay. We don't do that now. That doesn't fly now. I think it's important to call it out. So I don't want to seem like I'm getting like jaded to all of this, but it's not shocking to me necessarily. And it's also, as disappointing as it is to know that Emily wrote an entire book about body image and her relationship with her body and her body in the industry and slut shaming and all these other things. As like upsetting as it is that she could write a whole book on body image and her experience and her body in the industry and then participate in a photo shoot like this, as much as like that's so fucked up and upsetting, and it's like, damn, you wrote a whole book, made a whole fucking work that you promoted and put your name on, and you have all these values that you claim to stand by, and then when push comes to shove, you said fuck the fatties is what you said. That's not that shocking to me either, because I think over and over again I've seen in my life that straight size people will usually value their own body image experiences over the experiences of plus size people, even if those experiences speak over those voices or speak negatively to plus size people. You see it on TikTok all the time. It's one of the major reasons why I'm really not on TikTok anymore. And it's like it's those videos where people, they take a video of them slouching over and they're like, sometimes bodies look like this. Look at my fucking tummy rolls, and they squeeze it. And then they're like, and sometimes bodies look like this. You're perfect, mama. Just remember that you really are skinny. You're just bloated. You were just bending over. And then, every plus size person watches those videos and is like, what the fuck are you guys on about? What are you doing? Like, the amount of straight size people that struggle with their body image and then produce content that is basically like comforting people through their fear of being fat. They're like, don't worry, mama, you're not fat. You just bent over. You just have organs. Don't worry, mama. You're not fat. You're just bloated. Don't worry, mama. You're not fat. You're just this. The amount of like straight size body positivity content that is that, when you boil it down, it's like, don't worry, you're not actually fat. You're just this. And the amount of plus size people that have called out content like that, being like, that's unproductive and unhelpful and harmful. Not only are you not helping other straight size people by feeding them content like that, they might feel momentarily better because it, you know, this content is aiming to like quelch your fear of fatness. But long term, that doesn't help you at all because it perpetuates the fact that you should have a fear of fatness. By telling people like, don't worry, you're not actually fat, you're evading getting to the root of the problem here, which is that you shouldn't be scared of being fat, period. You shouldn't be scared of having a stomach, of having a double chin, of like living a full life, regardless of what your fucking body looks like. Like if you want to actually work on your body image and work on your relationship with your body, you need to confront your internalized fat phobia and what you've learned about your body and how it's supposed to or not supposed to fluctuate. And you have to break down those beliefs and fucking get rid of them. You need to rip apart everything you think you know about your body and get rid of this shit and start new. Letting yourself lean into like oh, you're not actually fat, you're just this. It's the same problems on a loop. You're never going to get out of that. And the amount of plus size people that have, with such grace and eloquence, called out content like that and said, like, this is not helpful to anybody. This actually makes people feel worse in the long term. And if you want to feel better about your body and learn better body image, have a better relationship with your body, that starts with unlearning your internalized fat phobia. It starts with breaking that shit apart. The amount of plus size people that have called it out and said, I hear your pain and I see your pain and I empathize with it because I have also struggled with my body image, but this is not it. Because what you're doing is not only not helpful, but it is harmful to plus size people. Being thin and struggling with your body image is not the same as living life in a plus size body. And it feels absurd that you still have to say things like that and be like, you being thin and hating yourself and being insecure is not the same as being in a plus size body and actually facing body discrimination because of your fucking weight. It's not the same and it'll never be the same. And I think that like when people make body positive content, but your body positive content doesn't cater to the most marginalized bodies among us, it is not body positive content. If your body positivity only caters to bodies that look like yours, it's not body positivity. And like, fuck you for trying to take that and insert yourself into the conversation. I think that anybody can make body positive content, but your body positivity has to include fat liberation in order for it to be body positivity. I don't give a fuck. I think anybody can make content on the internet or otherwise that makes people feel good about their bodies, but you need to be thoughtful about it. If you are not a plus size person, you do. Requirement. Baseline. And usually when plus size people call this shit out and say, that's not acceptable, here's what you should really be doing, here's what we need to consider, we need to unpack this, usually there is a pretty aggressive reaction from people who don't care. Ultimately, they don't care what the plus size experience is. They care about their own experience in their own bodies and feeling justified in whatever content makes them feel good. People don't want to think critically. People don't want to unpack their internalized fat phobia. A lot of people feel pretty entitled to that, actually. And so witnessing in small ways, you know, how straight size people take up space in plus size communities, body positive communities, and then when they're called out for doing something that negatively impacts the more marginalized groups in the community they're trying to serve, and they don't give a shit. You've seen it in minor ways all the time. And so it's not shocking to me that emrata could write an entire book and, you know, claim to give a shit about body image and, you know, young women and their relationships with their bodies and all of this. It's not shocking to me that she could write an entire book, claim that this is important to her, and then, you know, shit all over bigger bodies. It's not shocking to me at all. I think it happens literally all the time, because so often people are more concerned with their own experiences in body image and their own journey, and people feel like their own insecurities and how shitty they've felt about themselves and their body is like more important than what the like greater conversation around body image is. It blows my mind. So no, it's not entirely surprising to me that, not only a whole team of people didn't give a fuck about this, didn't think critically about this, but that Emrata herself, who was claimed to give a shit about this sort of thing, went along with it and didn't really say anything. None of it is shocking to me. I wish it was shocking. I wish that it was one of those things where I could sit here and be like, how could this happen? Because I know how it happened. I don't know exactly what the specifics are for this situation. I could continue going on here, all the different possibilities for how this could have possibly came to be, all of which I could see as reasonable possibilities for how it happened. Whether, nobody gives a fuck, or some people give a fuck and they just didn't say anything, or they felt like they couldn't say something because of the power dynamics at play. I don't know. It feels ridiculous to me that a photo like this could be shot and edited and planned out, and the rollout comes, and yeah, it feels wild in 2023 that this is somehow still a thing. It feels like it should be very much a thing of the past at this point. But I think the other aspect of it that pisses me off is, I think the truth is that a lot of people are very resistant to confronting their fat phobia. I think a lot of people want to pretend that they are not fat phobic or don't have any internalized fat phobia to reckon with. And I also think there's people that are fully aware that they are fat phobic and would fit the bill on that. Granted that I think that I think when you hear a word like fat phobia, I think a lot of people are like envisioning someone like verbally assaulting or physically assaulting a fat person. And it's like very like aggressive forms of hate. But I think that there is more often, which I'm sure I don't have to explain to you guys, I'm just saying to cover all my bases here, but more often that's not how things like that are manifesting, and that we're all to some level dealing with fat phobia or internalized fat phobia, the things we've learned through society and culture, these beliefs that we hold, thought patterns, things like that. That's more common than like something so fucking aggressive. But I think a lot of people, when they hear the word like fat phobia and they think of more like aggressive reactions, they're like, oh, well, I would never do that. Like, I don't have a problem with fat people. Fat people can do whatever they want. It's just that, like, I would rather pass away and die than ever gain, 10 more pounds. It's not that I hate fat people. It's just that I would die if I looked like her. I think a lot of people are probably more like that. And they don't want to look into that deeper or like unpack where this deep-seated fear comes from, or like what its place or purpose has in our lives. And I think people are very resistant to doing any kind of reflection there at all, because they're like, I'm not the worst person alive. And so because I'm not the worst person alive, I'm not gonna confront the parts of myself that are maybe harming the people around me. And we've talked before about, people submit questions to the box all the time, talking about their experiences and their bodies, having, maybe a mom or a friend that says really nasty things about their body or uses the word fat in a negative way. And they're not fat at all. They're, just objectively, they are a thin, straight-sized person who is constantly calling themselves fat in a negative way. People submit stories like this all the time. It's like a very universal experience that plus-size people have, just having to be subjected to people admitting to your face that looking like you would be their worst nightmare. And people don't, for whatever reason, have the foresight or ability to reflect, to like look at themselves from a bird's eye view and be like, what you're doing is fucked up. You're going to look at your plus size friend, you're going to look at your plus size daughter, your plus size sister, and basically try to seek advice from them, seek comfort from them, talking about how you are so scared to look like them without using those words. You'll just, talk about yourself and be like, I look so fat today. I look so this, I look so that. And you're talking to a fat person while you're doing all of this, saying all those negative things. And you don't ever sit back and think to yourself like, what are the words that I'm saying? What is, the way that I'm behaving? How is this impacting the people around me, the people that I claim to love? And I think a lot of people don't fucking think about it. And that's sad. And that's the part that pisses me off the most. I think a lot of people don't think about it because they've never had to think about it. Because maybe they don't know any plus size people. That seems absurd to me. Or maybe they've just never stepped outside of their own bubble to think about, other people's experiences and why their insecurities are not more important or take precedent over like the experiences of plus size people who are actually living a more challenging experience than someone in a thin body is in terms of body image. And obviously all of these issues are intersectional as well. So take that into account. It's just, exhausting, isn't it? Being a plus size person, always having to constantly educate the straight size people around you on how to properly treat you. It's fucking exhausting. And it's unbelievable that we're still having to do this. Because you'd think that at this point, people sort of have some sense about them and know a little bit better than they did in the fucking early 2000s. I think that we've had enough group conversations about this shit for people to know better. But here we are still. So anyways, let this just be a reminder to listen to plus size people, to maybe look inwards and start unpacking the beliefs that you have about fatness in your own life, because it impacts the people around you. And who knows, maybe one day you'll find yourself on a set and they're doing some dumb fatphobic shit and it's a bunch of straight size people, and you as another straight size person or a plus size person, but I'm talking mostly the straight size people when I say this. Maybe you as a straight size person are on this set and you witness fat phobia happening and you have the courage to say, guys, that's fucked up and we don't behave like that anymore. Because I'll be real, plus size people are tired of constantly standing up for ourselves and nobody fucking listening or just being told nasty things in return. And the people who worked on this photo shoot with Emrata, God damn it. I hope you people do some reflection. I know you probably won't. Gross, though. I'm glad the overall public reaction was negative. I'm glad that most people in those comments had the sense to be like, so what the fuck is this? And that feels good to see the majority reaction like that. I will cling to the idea that it is the majority of us that think shit like that is buck wild, bonkers, off the walls, insane. I'll just lose my mind if it's not. So, in the year of our Lord 2023, let's do a little bit better. We've had a lot of banger submissions in the box recently, sure. I'm going to get into a few here. If you don't know, there is a submission box for the show where you can submit anything and everything, and I will maybe read it out and talk about your experience, your story, your request for advice on the show. Hello, Maddie. Do you have any advice on taking pictures for dating profiles as a plus size girly? I know that always showing your body is good as far as being worried they won't like you because you're plus size. I'm currently in my no dating phase, but hope to start dating again soon. I have been trying to take pictures randomly when I'm feeling confident, out and about, or doing something fun, etc. But when I go back to look at them, I just feel gross. How do I get people to take decent photos of me when we're out doing something fun? By the way, love the pod. I'm writing this in my emotionally online merch, and thank God for that. And thank fucking God for that. I think generally plus size people tend to overthink photos on dating apps, and I get it. I totally do. Because people are nasty and mean. That's just the truth of it. But I think what you said at the beginning obviously is true. That I think that It's always better to show your body off instead of hide it, because you want to be attracting people that love you for who you are. We don't need to be hiding ourselves in any way or showing only certain angles of ourselves. Obviously, I think it's best to just choose photos for your dating profile that really do look like you, that show all of you, and letting the right people come to you, come find you. But I get it, because I think dating apps can be hard, and finding photos that make you feel good can feel hard. And there's also like such a fear of like how people might react to you on dating apps. People are sometimes unkind. So I get it. It's hard. And I think, maybe most of your question doesn't sound necessarily like it's just a dating app thing, but it's just a like how to take photos that you feel good about thing, and how to get people to take more good photos of you, which is something that I feel that I'm constantly trying to teach people. I feel like most of my favorite photos of myself were ones that I took on self-timer, because I just feel like I know exactly what I want the photos to look like. And I also think that a lot of people don't know how to take good photos. Just like period. I think a lot of people are very bad at taking photos. I love my friends. A lot of them are not great at taking photos. I'll ask them to take a photo of me and it'll be like the framing is so off. My head is like touching the top frame of the photo. There, I can like see the whole sidewalk and I'm like, what's going on? So I don't know. For me, I definitely take a lot of my own photos, because I don't love the photos that other people take of me a lot of time, unless they like are good at taking photos and have an eye for it, sort of thing. I'll try to get my friends to take photos of me every now and then. I'll like set them up. I'll take a photo of them first to show them exactly how I want the photo framed and what I want it to look like. And that helps sometimes if they're able to just mimic what I just did as an example for them. And so I can get the exact photo that I want. But I think that makes it hard for me to get any like candid photos, because I always have to like teach someone how to take a good photo of me. And so I feel like sometimes my analysis of my own dating profile is like, God, these all look so posed, because they are. They are all so posed. I don't have any like casual, really, photos of myself, which I think is why I've started adding in more videos to my dating profile, because I don't have any like candid or like natural unposed photos, because nobody takes photos of me, or nobody takes good photos of me like that. It's always like I have to teach people and I have to pose and I have to do all this fucking whatever. So videos are like a nice way to show like the more candid stuff, because I don't know, video is different. It's not like you have to look any type of way in a video, because you're constantly moving. So it's not like you get one weird frame, your eyes half closed or whatever. And also I feel like you can sort of set up a shot and leave it there and then go about and have like a normal candid interaction, even though you set up the perfect shot. I don't know. Video just feels like an easier way for me to get that, since I am not having great candid photos of me taken. But if you want good photos of you taken, I think it's option A, self-timer, option B, training people to take your photo well and giving them an example of exactly what you want it to look like. I'll be real and honest with you on this pod right here, right now. I've definitely faked candid photos before, because I know that nobody will take good ones of me. I swear to God, I can't believe I'm telling you this right now. God, I swear to God, if you guys tell anyone that I did this, I will beat the shit out of you. But last year, I actually don't even want to describe these photos, because then you guys are going to go find them and make fun of me for it. But a while ago, okay? At least over a year ago, I like took photos of myself that look candid, that look like someone else took them. It was fully me on my tripod doing it. But they were bangers on my dating profile. They really were. But you can fake it on your own. You for sure can. You just got to like lean into the acting side of it. You set up that shot, and then you set on the fucking timer thing so it goes off on its own, and then you just have to like act through an interaction on your own. And I get that it's fucking cringe. I do. I never claimed to not be cringe. Never in this life. I'm corny as fuck, okay? Let me live. I needed a good candid photo, and nobody takes any of me. If people took good candid photos of me, I wouldn't have to do this, you guys. I wouldn't have to fake a candid photo for my dating profile. But my dating profile, for a while, it looked like it was very posed. It was an Instagram baddie. And I love that for her, but that's not like my full personality. You know? We just needed a little more. God damn it. Maybe I should put a podcast clip on my dating profile. Just kidding. Regretted that right as I said it. But what if? I don't know. I think we in general think too much about the photos that we're using on dating apps, myself included. I've definitely in the past overanalyzed it. I think that whatever photos you like that show off your beautiful face, your beautiful body, that show off your style, your personality a little bit, whatever those photos look like are the ones that you should use. Whatever ones make you feel good. And I wouldn't worry about it. People can see your body. You're not tricking anyone. Enjoy whatever photos make you feel the most beautiful and gorgeous. Because they're all beautiful and gorgeous. Hey Maddie, I love your videos and really appreciate all your insight and advice you give. I have recently started seeing this guy. We matched on Tinder and have gone on several dates. After knowing each other for a week and a half and been on 5 dates, we agreed to delete the app and we did it in front of each other. A few days go by and my intrusive thoughts from past relationships made me think that he was talking to other people, so I re-downloaded the app and looked at his profile. It had been updated and included 2 new photos that were taken while we were on a date. I was crushed and brought it up to him, but he denies that he did this, but I do not believe him. I really do like him, but my trust is broken and I don't know if I can ever trust him again. It has been 4 days since we talked about it, but I'm not sure how I feel anymore. Interesting. How is he going to deny it if it's like sort of right there in front of him? Did a ghost do it? Like, what did he say? I want to be a fly on the wall for some of these conversations. Like, if you're going to deny that you updated a dating profile, it feels pretty cut and dry. Like, I saw that you did it. I don't know who added those. Yeah, likely story, pal. So that's the denying it is weird. You think that he would just sort of like be like, yeah, I did. Weird. Especially because you guys had a conversation about deleting the apps and focusing on each other or being exclusive or whatever. I guess you didn't say that, but you deleted the apps. So I'm assuming that means maybe not exclusive, but also like, I guess. I don't know. All those terms just fucking confuse the shit out of me. Let's just bring it back to like cut and dry. You're courting me. We're going steady. Whatever that means. I think that this is probably a great example for why it is not the best to go on a ton of dates in like the first week or 2 weeks that you start seeing someone, because I think we sort of gain a false sense of intimacy when we're able to say, oh, I've been on 5 dates with this person, because that seems like, oh, 5 dates. We've seen each other 5 separate times. We've gone on a date and thought, you know what, I'd like to keep seeing 5 times. We're getting along there, and all these dating gurus online are always like, by date this should happen. By date this should happen. And I don't know what they say. What do they say for labels? I think it's usually like they say the 3-month mark is when you should have a label. Usually, but I think a lot of people might say like, oh, by date 10 you should have a label or whatever. Bullshit, dumb, idiot, whatever. It's like all that shit is made up. Somebody somewhere decided that was the rule, or like that was the standard, and people just say whatever they want. It doesn't matter how many dates you go on with someone before you establish a title, or how many months it takes, or whatever. Do it whenever it feels right to you. However, I think that sometimes we create like a false sense of intimacy when we go out on so many dates with someone so quickly, and we're able to be like, oh, we've been on 5 dates with each other, but at the end of the day, this person is still pretty much a stranger. You've only known them for a week and a half. So I think that sometimes we just have to be careful about like the pace at which we're moving, even though it is so fun and it is enjoyable to have a little crush and meet someone new and, you know, spend all your time together and go on these cute, wonderful dates. And, you know, a lot of us are working towards wanting to be in a relationship, wanting to be in something exclusive. I totally get being excited about that and, you know, maybe getting a little eager here. But it is hard when it's like, I don't know if you can be exclusive with someone after a week and a half of knowing them off a dating app. I think that person is really, really still a stranger. And that seems very quick to me. I think it's good to have time in between dates to like sit in how you feel and let the connection grow at a pace that like brings you more stability and that just can allow for more trust to be built. Of course you don't trust this person after a week and a half. They're still a stranger to you. Trust is built. It doesn't just randomly appear, you know? However, with that being said, he shouldn't have told you that he was going to delete the apps and focus on you if his intention wasn't to do that. Because that's fucked up. And I think that when you called him out for it, he had a golden opportunity there to be like, listen, it's only been a week and a half. This is moving a little bit too quickly for me. So yes, I did re-download the apps and I've, started talking to people and I should have talked to you about it or whatever. He could have like given a reasonable explanation. The fact that he lied about it is just like, ugh, you're a lame-o. So I don't know. I'm a little torn on this because I do think that moving that quickly sort of sets you up for trust issues because you're not allowing trust to build. And I think that deciding to only see each other and deleting your apps after only a week and a half is risky. It's a risky move. But I also think that we're all grown-ups that can make our own decisions, and he shouldn't have agreed to something that he couldn't follow through with. And he definitely shouldn't have lied about it after he was called out for it. So I don't know. Might be a wash. Maybe you can work through it and have a candid conversation because clearly he's not ready to just lock down after a week and a half, which I think is reasonable. But you'd hope that he'd have the maturity to talk through that. So I don't know. Maybe it's possible to reopen the conversation and have it be very compassionate back and forth about the pacing at which this relationship is moving. And maybe he's, willing to own up to the fact that he lied. But this is a very strange sequence of events to me. And I just feel like maybe this relationship moved much too quickly. And it created a false sense of intimacy that is now maybe highlighting that you guys are not as compatible as you thought you were. Something to think about. Hello, Maddie. I have been loving your content since Girl Under You and hope you are well. I was recently talking to a friend and I briefly mentioned that I hate the concept of virginity, to which she replied that I'm opposed to most things in romantic relationships, which surprised me quite a bit, also because I don't see the correlation. So I was wondering, what are your thoughts on virginity? Do you feel like it's necessary? It sounds like your friend was having a bad day, because what the fuck? That's bizarre. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think the virginity is like a made up concept. Just used to make people feel shitty about themselves in more ways than one, making people feel like they're falling behind in life, or at the other end of the spectrum, making people feel like they are too promiscuous, and the way that we value virginity, particularly in young women, and some people like to use that as currency. You're more attractive the closer to virginity that you are, sort of thing. I think it's just on both sides of the spectrum used to make people feel shittier about themselves. It's just dumb. It's a whole fucking dumb made up concept. It's why when I talk about, like, when I tell sexual stories or talk about my experiences, you'll always hear me say the first time I had sex and not when I lost my virginity. Not that I'm perfect about it. I'm sure I've at one point in my life said virginity instead of the first time I had sex. Because yes, they mean similar things. But I've said this before in a pretty recent episode, that I think the words that we use matters. And I think there is a much more, virginity is like a loaded concept. It's not just, oh, this is the story of the first time I had sex. We're taking into account like purity and before you've had sex, and you have your virginity and you have this purity about you, and then you've lost it. You've lost something. And we're turning sex into like this deviant act that then we're using the concept of virginity to be able to shame people before they've had sex, to shame people for having their virginity and for being pure past a certain age. But we're also using the loss of virginity, the loss of purity, to then demonize people, and specifically women, demonize women, tell women that their value decreases the further they get away from their virginity, that they need to save their purity, save their whatever. You know, it's the same thing of like, you need to be super sexually proficient and do fucking jumping jacks on a dick, but you also need to be a virgin and nobody has ever touched you before and you are just for me and only me, and you've only ever thought of me and whatever the fuck else. It's like, you need to be sexy but not too sexy. You need to be this but not too this. It's like, it just perpetuates shit like that, which obviously I'm not about. And I don't think that it's important when someone has sex for the first time. There's no part of sex that I think is like a deviant act that strips people of any version of themselves or side of themselves. I think that it's just like a new experience, and I believe in people's sexual liberation and being able to have full exploratory experiences, safe experiences within their own, you know, sexuality. I hope that everybody gets to have safe and fun early sexual experiences. I do think that it's important that people have that. I don't think it matters when that happens, and I don't think that you change before or after this thing has happened and you've had sex for the first time. So that's why I don't love the concept of virginity, and I don't think it's necessary, because it's, one, made up, and two, loaded for all the wrong reasons, and it's just like a vessel to make people feel shameful for indulging in sex or not indulging in sex, either of which is totally fucking fine. So no, not a fan. I think most people feel this way at this point. I don't know anybody that doesn't, to be fair. So it sounds like your friend was having a bad day and just was saying some random shit, because I don't know who the fuck is. I don't know anybody that's pro virginity. I don't know anybody who's like, you know what I love? The concept of virginity that makes everybody feel shittier. Love it. Loved feeling like I was, you know, a prude and a loser for not having sex, and love that I now get slut shamed because I did. Love all of it. Love it so much. Love that I cannot win and I am made to feel shitty about my sexuality no matter what. I just love it. There's nothing I love more. Who said that? Nobody ever said it ever. So maybe your friend just doesn't fully understand what you were saying, or they were having a bad day, or maybe they do love sexual repression. I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like your friend was just having a bad day. I wouldn't read into it. This is a weird reaction to you saying that. What's your problem? Don't worry, Bestiana. I'm on the same page as you. And I think, fortunately for us, a lot of people are on the same page at this point in time in the year of our Lord 2023. At least we have that in the year of our fucking Lord. Well, this was a lovely episode. Just hanging out on the couch. I'm wearing headphones as I record this for the first time ever, which has, I don't know why I never do this. I guess it's because I'm not usually like screaming, so I don't need to hear the audio if it's peaking or not. But it is interesting getting to like hear my voice with the microphone quality as I'm speaking. And it's kind of enjoyable for me. I think it makes talking to myself more fun, because I'm like, wow, it's crisp. It's like I'm being interviewed by myself. Nice. I hope you guys had a wonderful time at the sleepover. You are absolutely invited back next week. And if you'd like to, this holiday season, pick up some emotionally online merchandise to wear while you indulge in the sleepover party vibes, you absolutely can do that when you go to shopmaddydrosbeck.com. You can rep your favorite podcast and at the same time let people know that you are emotionally available. So look at that. 2 birds with 1 stone, baby. Here for you. Letting you send all the messages that you would like to send this holiday season. And if you want to see more of me, you can, of course, check me out on my YouTube channel or my Instagram at Maddie Drosbeck. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next week.